Hello there everybody, I'm Mr. Game Pie, and this is the end of Year 5 Let's Play Anniversary. Man, I've been doing this stuff for half a decade now, huh? This year I really gave it my all in trying to consistently upload, and I produced a massive 424 videos. At a total video count of 945, I nearly doubled the number of vids on this channel. In a first for my channel, I actually ended Year 4 partway through a series. This year began with parts 10 to 15 of Kirby Superstar, going from August 4th to August 10th. Jordan joined me for this series, and being the last third of the game, we covered the toughest challenges therein. Considering that I started the year with one of the major platformers on my channel, it seemed logical to continue with another major platformer. Thus, on August 11th, I started up Sonic Advance 3. This series lasted until August 26th and was 10 videos long. Sonic Advance 3 is my second favorite Sonic game, and as such I wanted to present the game at its best. I played the game on easy mode, as much of the fake difficulty normally presented in the game is absent in this scenario, and saved collecting Chao for after I had beaten the regular final boss, going through the stages in a more natural manner. That said, this strategy of handling the Chao did result in the only unintended break in the schedule throughout the year, as I had to spend an extra few days recording footage for the Chao and Chaos Emerald collecting montages that made up episodes 8 and 9. Episode 8, where I showed off how to collect all the Chao, is my most popular video this year, currently having 254 views. Mega Man 2 Versus started on August 15th, slightly into my Sonic Advance 3 playthrough, and ended on August 29th, shortly after I started up the next Let's Play. It uploaded weekly and lasted 3 parts. I raced Zack, 8-Bit Sonic 1, on normal difficulty, as it was the only difficulty he had ever beaten the game on. There were some uneven scenarios as I was playing on the Wii Virtual Console version while Zack was playing on the GameCube Mega Man Anniversary Collection version. But in the end, the result was incredibly close. Let's Play Elevate started on August 27th and lasted until September 25th, being 17 parts in total. This was the first FPS on the channel, and at the time I thought it was going to be the only FPS that would ever show up here. I would later end up being wrong about that, but, well, I'll save that for a bit. In any case, I enjoyed analyzing the world presented here and searching for the small critters under every object I could find. Though, due to the fairly repetitive nature of the game, I did bring Austin in from episode 10 onwards. Though he had never played the game before, his highly analytical nature brought about many humorous revelations as always. Let's Play Sonic Riders began August 31st and lasted until October 8th. The series was 19 parts, with the first 8 parts being uploaded in tandem with Elebits, 3 Elebits episodes to a single Sonic Riders episode. During this time I completed the story mode, the Grand Prix mode, and showed off the extra tracks, leaving the remaining 11 parts for the missions of the game and the final episode, wherein I explained the stats of each character and board. I had a ton of fun going through this game, and while it is a somewhat controversial part of the Sonic series, I can wholeheartedly say that it's a fun experience from my point of view. My Let's Play of the Plants vs. Zombies New Game Plus began on October 9th and ended November 16th. The main series lasted 22 parts, while I also had 2 parts to show off the multiplayer of the game. For the duration of the main game, I had a variety of co-commentators, including George GW, Zelgin, Austin on Sugar, and 8-Bit Sonic 1. I showed off a variety of interesting strategies that one would normally not be able to utilize on one's first playthrough, and I tried to challenge myself at various points with special gimmicks. During this time, the PC that I had been using for Let's Plays all this time finally broke down, resulting in a few days of side videos while I bought a new computer. For multiplayer, I brought my mom in to help me, as she had also been interested in the game. Splatooning started near the end of Plants vs. Zombies due to some recording issues. At first, it chronicled my first matches and me going through the ranks, but as time went on, I began to play the game off-screen as well. This series has consistently had co-commentators, starting with George, but also going to include Zack and Automaton Creature as well. The series is currently 46 parts, but has no definitive ending, and will likely to continue to update throughout the coming years at various intervals. Let's Play Undertale began November 18th and lasted until December 26th. It involved 2 playthroughs and 2 characters. The main playthrough was as myself, GNP, of the Pacifist Run, which lasted 24 parts, while an alternative playthrough hosted by the character of Game & Guy of the No Mercy run lasted 9 parts. The two playthroughs were synced up so that important events of the game would be uploaded at the same time. Saying much else would likely spoil the game, so I'll just say here that I had a ton of fun with this one, and the G&G segments in particular probably have some of the best editing work near the end. Let's Play Civilization Revolution began December 19th and lasted until February 2nd. It consisted of 31 parts total. I did 4 playthroughs of the game, obtaining one of the 4 different victories each time. I used the Romans for each playthrough. The first playthrough, wherein I obtained the cultural victory, was uploaded in the middle of the Undertale Let's Play due to some recording issues I was experiencing with the series at the time, though the other 3 playthroughs were uploaded after Undertale completed. It was around this time that I started to do streams. My previous computer wasn't able to stream because of how old it was, but after I replaced it because of the events of the Plants vs. Zombies Let's Play, my new computer allowed me to stream games freely. My first stream was of the Burgers vs. Pizza Splatfest, and since then I decided to stream every Saturday. I've done a variety of streams including Xenoblade Chronicles, the classic Sonic and Mega Man games, Yoshi's Woolly World, Metroid Prime, the Pac-Man World games, and more. Streaming would undoubtedly continue into this next year as well. After so many months of racing games, FPS games, RPGs, and strategy games, I figured it was time to go back to my roots. Thus, on February 3rd, I began Let's Play Super Mario Land 2. It was 8 parts long and lasted until February 12th. This one was short and sweet, and I had lots of fun going back to such an important game to my childhood. I obtained 100%, beating every level in the game, and even managed to do not too horribly on the final level, which is easily one of the hardest 2D Mario levels in the series. The next game I tackled was the exceptionally long LEGO Star Wars 2. It went from February 15th to April 18th and was 47 parts long, easily the longest Let's Play I've done. I obtained 100% in the game, though I did backtracking to previous levels off-screen. Notably, before doing this Let's Play, I hadn't actually watched the original trilogy, this game being my only real experience with the franchise as a whole. Thus, I decided to go and watch the original movies as I progressed in the Let's Play, and provided my opinions on the movies as time went on. After such a long Let's Play, I wanted something short, and thus decided to make a series on the fan game Mega Man Rock Force. It went from April 19th to May 3rd, and lasted 11 parts. In this Let's Play, I made use of the various playable Robot Masters in the game, only using Mega Man in the intro stage and my first Robot Master stage. I even showed off both sets of Fusion Robot Masters. Before playing the game, I wasn't able to find weaknesses for each of the bosses in the game when it came to Rock Force members, and thus had to test out most of the characters in practice. After completing the Let's Play proper, I also did a stream where I played as Mega Man and showed off all the various special weapons. At this point, I wanted to continue my playthroughs of the Kirby series. The next game in the series was Kirby's Dream Land 3, a game I hadn't played much before, but one that was considered quite popular within the franchise as a whole. It went from May 4th to May 18th and lasted 11 parts. My run was a Rick-centric run. I used Rick the hamster as much as possible, though I would leave him behind if another animal partner was required to obtain a Heart Star, as I still wanted to obtain 100%. This is far from my favorite Kirby game, but I still feel like I did a solid representation here. Conveniently, around the end of Kirby's Dream Land 3, the game Asagao Academy was released, a humorous dating sim where one dated the members of Normal Boots. Seeing how silly the game could be, I brought Renee along to Let's Play the game. However, we didn't make it past the first chapter before stopping. Even though I felt like we had some good moments, the viewer interest just wasn't there. It lasted from May 19th to July 14th and was 15 parts long. During this time, the FPS game Overwatch was released on May 25th. The game grabbed my attention during its development, and I bought it on day 1. I recorded my first matches and would go on to continue recording my various experiences with the game in the series Overwatching. Unlike Splatooning, most videos in this series are solo, aside from parts 7 through 14, which had Renee in them. This series is currently 21 parts long, but I will certainly be making more in the future. I was one of the backers of the game Mighty No. 9 when its Kickstarter was up, and as such, when the game was released on June 21st, I decided to make a Let's Play of it. The series lasted until June 29th and was 7 parts long. I can say that I did at least enjoy the game, but it had way too many issues to be what I would consider good, and this series demonstrates the problems firsthand. I finished the series the day I would go off to SGC, marking the second break throughout the year, albeit an intentional one this time. I returned on July 11th with Let's Play Splatoon. Unlike Splatooning, wherein I casually play the game's multiplayer with my friends, my Let's Play covered the single-player mode. The first 10 episodes covered the entirety of the main story, where I even obtained all the Sunken Scrolls. I also brought in various friends that have experience with the game, including George, Zach, and Jordan. That's all the content that I've currently released, though I will still be doing the Amiibo content within the coming weeks, ending this year much in the way it began, in the middle of a series. As a whole, I feel like I really gave it my all this year. I worked hard to stay on a consistent upload schedule, and I succeeded. I nearly doubled my video count, did many new series and genres of games, and while I feel continuing to produce Let's Play videos with the same degree of quality as always. That said, looking at the statistics, I found that this year my channel has had roughly half the success as the previous year, in essentially every area. In fact, looking at the times when my channel obtained the most views, I found that these were all times where I either was uploading nothing or very little. It's a bizarre trend that I honestly don't understand. That said, this year I did take a break from college, but here in the coming weeks I will be returning. As such, I rather doubt that this coming year will have quite as much content as this year did, since I'll have to focus on school again. Perhaps future gaps in the content will bring in more viewers? From everything I've ever learned about YouTube's algorithm, that should be how it works, but history says otherwise, I suppose. Of course, don't think I'll be giving up on this stuff just because people aren't watching or anything. Absolutely not. I've still got tons of series I want to do. Just look at them. Look at all those games I've still yet to do. There's like 50 of them that I got listed here. A lot of them require DS or 3DS capture granted, but maybe one day I'll have those capabilities. So yeah, this next year might not bring about as many series, but I've still got a long way to go before I'm even remotely finished with this stuff. I love making these videos, so viewers or no viewers, I'm still going to be bringing the content. That said, the title of this video promised end of year 5 and more. Well, let's get on to the more, shall we? At this point, I've got 46 Let's Plays, the vast majority of them having been completed, alongside 7 Versus series and several other series along the way. I already mentioned that I have over 900 videos. That's a lot of content to parse through. As such, today, I bring you Top 10 Mr. Game & Pie series, as determined by Mr. Game & Pie. Shall we begin? Number 10 is Pac-Man World 3. Here at the bottom of the list, we have a game that I wouldn't necessarily is good from a quality standpoint, but from a popularity standpoint, it is by a large margin my most popular series. When it comes down to it, it's alright. My Let's Play isn't really anything special, but considering how many Pac-Man World 3 Let's Plays there are, that's all it really needs to be, I suppose. My goal with that series was to bring up the bar for what a Pac-Man World 3 Let's Play should be, and I guess I succeeded. Granted, it's been a long time since I've looked to see if anyone has come along and made a better series of the game, but hey, if its parts are still the videos of mine that get the most views, I must have done something right. Number 9 is Crash Purple and Spyro Orange. This is essentially 2 Let's Plays in one. The Crash Spyro crossover was split into 2 games, and with this series, I put them together again. I'd say this has some of my most solid editing work among my various Let's Plays, and is probably the best Let's Play of these games one can find. Number 8 is Banjo-Kazooie Versus. My race in Banjo-Kazooie against 8-Bit Sonic won. The two of us had a lot of fun producing this series, and I think it really makes the series shine. The competition does peter off near the end, but for the duration of the series, Zach and I show our mutual love for the game to an excellent extent. Number 7 is Kirby's Dream Land 2. One of my favorite Kirby games, my Let's Play of Kirby's Dream Land 2 shows off solid knowledge and skill at the game at hand, as well as my absolute love of the Kirby series. While I didn't like what they did with the Animal Helper mechanics in Dreamland 3, I loved how they operated in Dreamland 2 and showed off these abilities to maximum effect throughout the series. Number 6 is Undertale. My dual Let's Play of Undertale has easily been one of my most intensive projects. Before this series, Game & Guy was a one-off April Fool's joke, but here I decided to give him his own full character and flesh out just what a Mr. Game & Pie antithesis is like. I absolutely love this game, and I feel like my series on it really demonstrates this in the best of ways. Number 5 is Sonic Adventure 2 Versus. A versus against Austin on Sugar in a world where it's become pretty popular to hate this game. We both like it. Quite a bit, actually. We had a 3-tier race based on who reached the end first, who obtained the highest average rank, and whoever collected the most rings. This is easily one of the most hilarious verses I've ever been a part of. Between the ridiculous discussions that Austin and I had, as well as some incredible gameplay moments, this versus is easily one of the best to check out. Number 4 is Sonic Advance 3. This is my second favorite Sonic game, and I'd say it shows. I love the team-based mechanics that surround the gameplay, and managed to show them off to their greatest extent, as well as just generally great gameplay and an excellent ending. Number 3 is the Robot Master Numerical Run. Not technically a Let's Play, but within this series it took on each of the Robot Masters in the classic Mega Man series in numerical order. This allowed me to show off a decent portion of each classic game, as well as my way of playing while using special weapons that many people often consider useless. It's pretty long at 80 videos, but they're all pretty short, with an average length of 5 minutes at most. Number 2 is Sonic 3, Sonic & Knuckles, and Sonic 3 & Knuckles. Technically 3 Let's Plays, but since they're all of a single united game, I'm putting them all here. I played Sonic 3 as Tails, Sonic & Knuckles as Sonic, and Sonic 3 & Knuckles as Knuckles. In this way, I showed off how each version differs from one another, and presented a high level of gameplay that one might expect out of me playing not only my favorite Sonic game, but my second favorite game of all time. The Sonic & Knuckles portion in particular has some pretty crazy luck involved at various times. And finally, at number 1, we have Sonic Adventure. Finally, we've reached what I consider to be, at this time, my greatest Let's Play. Much like what I mentioned previously with Sonic Adventure 2 Versus, it's pretty popular to hate on Sonic Adventure these days, but I still enjoy it, as does my co-commentator for this series, Austin on Sugar. Excellent gameplay, personal stories and theories, and of course, ignoring the character that must not be named, I'd say this series has it all. So, there you have it, folks. What I consider to be my top 10 best series. If you haven't checked them out, well, maybe consider doing so at some point. Like I said earlier, I'll be going back to college soon, so chances are pretty good that there will be some schedule lulls for you to do so in if you so desire. That said, if you think there's another series that I did, which is better than any of the ones I mentioned here, then, you know, totally feel free to bring that up. That's a pretty standard thing to do in top 10s. I think that's something that people typically do. In any case, I'd say it's been a solid year overall, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in this next year. Half a decade, everyone! If that whole 10 years of consistently doing a thing makes you an expert at something, factoid is true, and let's hope I can do this thing for another 5 years so I can officially become an expert Let's Player. Wouldn't that be something? Anyway, with that said, I've been Mr. Game Pie, and I'll see y'all later! Remember to stay sufficiently awesome.